Welcome back to BioScholar. Let's talk about plant tissue culture and its types. Plant tissue culture is a fascinating technique used to grow plants under sterile conditions, starting from small tissues or cells. This method plays a vital role in agriculture, horticulture, and research, helping to propagate plants, conserve rare species, and study plant biology. Here's how the process works. First, we start with the selection of the explant. A small piece of plant tissue, called an explant, is carefully taken from a plant. This could be a piece of a leaf, stem, root, or meristematic tissue. Next is sterilization. The explant is thoroughly sterilized to remove any microorganisms. This ensures the growth medium remains free from contamination. It is then placed in a culture medium, a nutrient-rich, sterile environment containing essential nutrients, hormones, vitamins, and sometimes carbon sources like sucrose. The medium's composition is tailored to achieve specific growth goals, such as root or shoot development. In many cases, the explant forms a mass of undifferentiated cells called a callus. This callus can later differentiate into specific tissues under the influence of plant hormones. Once ready, the callus or explant begins regeneration, developing shoots and roots to form a new plant. Hormones such as auxins and cytokinins play a critical role in directing this transformation. Finally, the regenerated plantlets undergo acclimatization. They are carefully transferred to soil or another growing medium, helping them adapt to external environmental conditions. Plant tissue culture is a powerful tool, enabling the rapid production of plants, the conservation of endangered species, and even the creation of disease-free crops. It's an essential practice in modern plant science. Plant tissue culture is an advanced method for propagating plants in a controlled environment. Let's explore the 8 main types of tissue culture techniques. The first one is seed culture. Seeds may be cultured in vitro to generate seedlings or plants. It is the best method for raising the sterile seedling. The seed culture is done to get the different kinds of explants from aseptically grown plants, which help in better maintenance of aseptic tissue. Second is embryo culture. Embryo culture is the sterile isolation and growth of an immature or mature embryo in vitro with the goal of obtaining a viable plant. In some plants, seed dormancy may be due to chemical inhibitors or mechanical resistance, structures covering the embryo. Excision of embryos and culturing them in nutrient media help in developing viable seedlings. Embryos developed from wide hybridization between 2 different species may not mature fully due to embryo-endosperm incompatibility. So, the isolation and culture of hybrid embryos prior to abortion help in overcoming the post-zygotic barrier and the production of interspecific or intergeneric hybrids. Next we have meristem culture. The apical meristem of shoots of angiosperms and gymnosperms can be cultured to get disease-free plants. Meristem tips, between 0.2 to 0.5 mm, most frequently produce virus-free plants, and this method is referred to as meristem tip culture. This method is more successful in herbaceous plants than in woody plants. In the case of woody plants, success is obtained when the explant is taken after the dormancy period is over. After the shoot tip proliferation, the rooting is done, and then the rooted plantlet is potted. Let's discuss bud culture. Buds contain quiescent or active meristems in the leaf axils, which are capable of growing into a shoot. Single node culture, where each node of the stem is cut and allowed to grow on a nutrient medium, develops the shoot tip from the axil, which ultimately develops into a new plantlet. In the axillary bud method, axillary buds are isolated from the leaf axils and develop into shoot tips under a slightly high cytokinin concentration. Next is callus culture. Callus is basically a more or less unorganized, differentiated mass of cells arising from any kind of explant under in vitro cultural conditions. The cells in callus are parenchyma in nature, but may or may not be a homogeneous mass of cells. They are meristematic tissue, and under special circumstances, they may be organized into shoot primordia or develop into somatic embryos. The callus tissue from different plant species may vary in structure and growth habit. The growth of callus depends on factors like the type of explant and the growth conditions. After callus induction, it can be subcultured regularly with appropriate new media for growth and maintenance. Sixth one is cell suspension culture. The growing of individual cells obtained from any kind of explant tissue or callus is referred to as cell suspension culture. These are initiated by transferring pieces of tissue, explant or callus into a liquid medium without agar and then placing them on a gyratory shaker to provide both aeration and dispersion of cells. Like callus culture, the cells are also subcultured into a new medium. Cell suspension cultures may be done in batch culture or continuous culture systems. This culture method is mainly used for the synthesis of specific metabolites or for biomass production. Then we have anther culture. An important aspect of plant tissue culture is the haploid production by anther culture or pollen culture, first established by Guha and Maheswari in 1964 and 1966 in Datura. During the last few decades, much progress has been made in different crops like rice, wheat, maize, mustard, and pepper. The anthers bearing the uninucleate microspores are selected and allowed to grow in a medium to produce callus from the pollen mass. Then the triggering of these androgenic calli is directed to produce embryos, and haploid plants are developed from these androgenic embryos. The anther culture can be done with isolated anthers on solid media, where the anther wall will break open, and the androgenic calli will be formed from the pollen. In pollen culture, microspores at the uninucleate stage are collected in liquid media and can be grown in suspension culture. In suspension, the uninucleate pollens may give rise to calli mass or globular mass, from which plants can be raised either through embryogenic or organogenic pathways. The last one, protoplast culture. Protoplast culture refers to the culture of plant protoplasts, cells devoid of cell walls. Isolated protoplasts are usually cultured in either liquid or semi-solid agar media plates. Protoplasts are isolated from soft parenchyma tissue by enzymatic methods. Then, viable protoplasts are purified and cultured. The primary aim of protoplast culture is to develop genetically transformed plants where the transgene is successfully introduced into the plant protoplast, and the transgenic plant is regenerated from that transformed protoplast. And that concludes our comprehensive overview of the types of plant tissue culture techniques. Plant tissue culture is a fascinating field that combines science, precision, and innovation to unlock the potential of plants. From creating disease-free crops to developing hybrids and advancing genetic engineering, these methods are shaping the future of agriculture and biotechnology. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible techniques of plant tissue culture. Stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next video.